Hello, I'm Nikki Ross. I'm the program specialist for Grossmont Adult Education, and I coordinate IET for our different programs.
And hello, I'm Amber Kiefer. I'm the IET instructor for the Health Occupation Center.
So Amber and I have been working together for the last 2 years to just kind of make IET work. We have a pretty large health occupation center, and so that's where we do most of our work right now. And we just wanted to talk a little bit about the challenges we've had, some of the aspects of our program, and let you know how we're moving forward. So I think just to start, we really saw quite a few challenges that our English learners were having, even getting into our healthcare programs. And some of the ones that we identified, and knew about right away, and have even learned more about over the last 2 years are things that you'd imagine, like reading comprehension. Very specifically, following instructions was something that we saw, but also came about as we collaborated with teachers in PLC. Career preparedness, so just understanding what the workplace is like, in addition to soft skills. I think overall listening comprehension, so slowing down and hearing what you're supposed to do on the technical side, and then the communication side. Taking the time and understanding the necessity of medical terminology, and then just overall professional communication. What's the best way for me to email, to address a supervisor, and to work with my team members? So those are the things we've been working on.
So the strategies that we used to address these barriers, then we have in-class language learning instruction. So I do go into most of the classes and help with any language that is needed. We have contextualized Canvas modules. So we do put into each program's modules the IET section. So we have those IET modules that focus on the language and literacy, the workforce prep, and writing activities. We do CASAS test before and at the end of each program. And we do a COAP. So we usually do the COAP 33.8, which is job application and mock interviews. We do have transition service specialists that we bring in for any help that we need. That way, we also have a VESSEL and a PCA path, a patient care aid for students who need to maybe take a little bit of some other classes and then come back to the program. And then we do have some simulation skills assessments that we've been working on, and that's new, but has been working very well to actually practice the language and literacy that they need.
And a lot of what Amber mentioned, I think these aspects of our program, these strategies, are kind of what have been differentiating our program from other programs that we've learned about. And of course, we learned about other programs and then tried to implement new things that would help our students specifically, and really just flexed with our program, since we are serving about 10 different programs at our health center right now. So I would say specifically the contextualized Canvas modules, for each course, we created a template and then just modified it to fit dental, or to fit pharmacy, or to fit phlebotomy, so that the students were going in and able to do a writing exercise that related to their lab that week. And then, of course, everyone does many of the same career preparedness modules, getting them ready for the online application, getting them ready for the mock interview. The vessel and patient care aid path is a little bit different for us. We split the semester, so a student could actually come in at any point, either do both or one. And then after that, we hope that they'll be prepared to then enroll in a program at our Health Occupations Center, or what we call HOC. We don't require a CASA score, so there's no minimum score for a student to participate in our programs. That seems pretty unique for what we're learning about other programs. And also, I think what presents some of the biggest challenges for us. And then this new simulation skills assessment that we've been working on. We bring in one assessment a reading looking for fluency and pronunciation, comprehension of that reading, step-by-step demonstration. So a student demonstrates their ability to do their technical skills. So a teacher's overseeing that piece, communicate, and then also just operate with appropriate soft skills. And then it culminates in a short writing assessment. So it really encompasses all aspects and helps us look at students that are language learners, but also students that struggle in other areas.
So I think the most crucial part of our IET, training is that Canvas module. So within the Canvas module, it is asynchronous that they're working on. And then I also pull out a lot of the classes. I don't do all the classes, but most of them I pull out into a computer lab for an hour a week. And then we can work on stuff together. But that Canvas module is really our most important part, because I can put in to that Canvas module things that we have, the teachers or our business partners have identified as what they really need. So like Nikki mentioned, the soft skills. Just today, we were doing interpersonal, a self-assessment and on communication, and talking about how important that is. We have writing aspects. I personally read through all of their writing. So I have so many writing samples from each student starting on almost day one. So we can catch things, where students are really needing the help. I have we have modules that help with guidance for how to fill out the job application. We have guidance for how to do a mock job interview, what are strengths and weaknesses. So all of that is within the Canvas module. And then we also work together on that. So I can identify who needs extra help, and I can go and meet with that student one-on-one, or we have an open lab. And I can suggest that the students go to that open lab and work on this specific part. One of the biggest things is following directions. I think Nikki mentioned that seems to be a problem sometimes. So I have some modules in there that's just strictly following directions. So we can address very specific problems and issues and things that might come up directly in that Canvas module.
And I think, the working with the students asynchronously through the Canvas module in class time, and then also having our modified entry requirements, we've been able to, find some measurable outcomes. Number one, we've been able to greatly increase, and we have some really cool special populations data that the HOC director, Heather, put together, that shows the number of ELs that have increased over the last 4 years at our school, as well as the numbers completing. In fact, our numbers of ELs completing surpassed non-EL students. We can see increased CASA scores when we pre-test and post-test, of course, and see, okay, this student has really grown. For example, last fall from a 211 to a 227. That's a huge jump. And we we hope that our work with them is part of that. And then something that's also cool, and that is, I think, some evidence that we can share also with our advisory is when a student does the Canvas module towards interview preparation, we can really see when we do that assessment that they've watched the videos, that they've done the practice, that they've, that they know what to say and even understand the question, tell me about yourself, or understand what we mean by explaining their weakness. So it's pretty cool to be able to see some of that data as well. I think when we're looking at the data, so looking back, and then also in the moment, there's some things that we're really always trying to continually improve for the future. I mean, I don't know, Amber, what would you say as far as like looking at the open labs, looking at the sims, just as we're moving ahead, what do you think?
So I would really like to have the open lab be successful. And this whole process, Nikki said we've been doing this for 2 years. So it didn't happen overnight. We've been working on everything. Right now, we're really working on that open lab. And I think that I would like to see for the future that become a little bit more crucial part where the teachers will send their students and the students will want to go. And I know it's hard. Adults, we just don't have the time, but I would really like to see that become a little bit more of a crucial part to the IET. And then I think the Sims, like she was talking about, the simulations, that's where we're really getting what our business partners need, what they need in a good employee. So we are trying to do that, and that's something that's a little bit new for us too. But we do have that in the open lab. I do have that in Canvas, and then we are doing little practice presentations within the open lab, or I'm sorry, the computer lab that I take individually. So I'd like to see, the open lab and the Sims become just, keep going on those and make those a little bit larger than they are right now.
Yeah, I can also speak just a little bit about the simulations and developing those. They've also helped us, I think, connect with the teachers a little bit more because the teachers really see the relevance. We actually used AI to develop a template for a simulation that would include reading comprehension, the steps in a communication process, both technical and soft, and then the writing piece. And then we took those back to the teachers. We presented them in PLC, and then we asked the teachers, is this accurate? What would you change? And we currently have 2 classes that will be using that this semester specifically to identify if students are internship ready. And again, it's for the whole class, but that language and literacy piece is the core focus. And this really brings together everything that's in those Canvas modules. And then I think another piece that continues to connect it to CTE is that they're connected again to the CTE anchor standards. So that's really speaking the language of our CTE instructors, which I think has been, at least looking back right now, the biggest hill to climb as far as implementing IET is just making it relevant and getting the teacher buy-in.
Yeah, I'm really seeing it's exciting this semester, really seeing a lot of that teacher buy-in. They're realizing how helpful it is and how important it is. I've heard some teachers say they're doing their internship and the student didn't make it in the past. Something was blocking it, and it wasn't the technical skills, but these soft skills are so important. And it's hard to address those in the class with the teacher. They're teaching the technical skills. So this IET being really a part of that communication, the literacy, the language skills, bringing that to the forefront has been a challenge, but then very, very rewarding. I see a big change in that.
Yeah, and I think for the teachers, this is all really different than when we had our entrance exam, because so many students were screened out. The highest scores were given priority, so it was really prohibitive for our ELs, our older learners who hadn't been to school in a while, hadn't been taking those kind of tests for so long. And then if a language learner got in and was struggling, they really lack what we like to call proactive instruction, that we are delivering through our in-class, our Canvas modules, and then our before and after class open labs. So I think it's helping the teachers too, because they're dealing with all kinds of barriers that they really didn't see when we had an entrance exam. Um, I know one thing that we saw at the Summer Institute was other schools that approached us after we presented and said, you know, oh, wow, this might be something that we could do, or we're really struggling. We don't have enough teachers to serve all our classes. And so just thinking about how this could be adapted for other schools. You know, Amber can talk a little bit about when we first developed the Canvas template, and we're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to change this for the different classes?
Yeah, so it's really been a work in progress. A lot of the PLCs listening to the teachers, what they wanted. They had been working on kind of a diagnostic type quiz
Mhm.
questionnaire. And so I was able to say, let's put that in the IET module because it didn't really fit in with what they, had already planned for their technical classes, but I could put that in. So a lot of the teacher buy-in was that I could say, hey, what do you want them to do? In fact, we had several of the teachers in the PLC once say cursive writing. Cursive writing is gone, and I'm like, okay, we'll put a module in. So I made a little module on cursive writing, and it's funny that the students are like, why do I have this? But you run into it. So really, just being on top of talking with the teachers, going to the PLC meetings, and being able to put in things that teacher buy-in is incredible now. Everyone's really wanting to be a part of it. And like Nikki said, these are teachers who have taught the technical skills for a long time to students who could score really well on an entrance exam. And all of a sudden we don't have that anymore. And they're getting language learners and they're like, they don't know what to do. They hadn't had to really deal with that in the past. So for us to be there and say, okay, we're going to help with that. And, I mentioned I have writing samples from the very beginning. So from the very beginning, I can say, you're going to have some troubles with this. Let's, offer you some resources. And that's what I tell the students when we meet, we're doing this to help you. My whole job here is to help you be successful in the classes and in your future career. So the Canvas modules, I just can't speak more highly of them. It took a little bit in the beginning, but once they're there and we have them all nicely designed on language and literacy, on the workforce prep, and then there's other lab things in between. So once you have that template going, we can just pop them into each program.
And I think too, Amber talked about the teacher feedback at PLCs, but the teachers really also, especially because they know a lot of their advisory members from the field, um, they really are interested in their feedback. And so through the advisory boards, we get a lot of feedback as to what soft skills are needed, what's needed as far as following directions, or how we can enhance, terminology for students that have a language barrier. So this aspect and listening to that feedback, and then being able to continually just change and improve what we're offering based on that, that just real in the field, up to the minute feedback has been I think really important too on making this relevant And addressing, when the employers tell us, soft skills are needed, they're not just talking about language learners. They're talking about everyone. And a lot of data has come about just through looking at that, right? So making this relevant for everyone, we discovered that we had many students, because everyone CASAS tests. We have many students that read below high school level that aren't language learners. So the language and literacy, the workforce preparedness, the writing, all of the things that we're adding in is really something that many of our students need. And we talk about that. We already know that in adult ed, um, we serve very unique students with unique needs. But I think that this is kind of digging into that area too, which is very cool.
Yeah, I think it's been really rewarding to see students who probably wouldn't have made it otherwise. And again, not just because of maybe English as their second language, but just because of schooling or their past or what their life was, and seeing them be able to get into these programs that used to have a much more of a barrier to that, and to thrive in there. I have them coming into the office and telling me, thank you so much. I couldn't have done that. I didn't even know this. And I've had some students today, I'm a mom and a grandma, and I didn't think that I could come back here and be an MA, but I'm really doing well because of all this help. And I said, that's what we're here for. We're here to make you successful.
So, well, I think that's pretty much our program wrapped up. And we're having fun. It's exciting. It's cool. And we work in a great environment at our health occupation center. So um, I don't know if there's anything else.
I'm done.